the city hums beyond my office window, a symphony of headlights and distant horns that fades as I pack up my sketches and laptop. I'm 34, an architect with a mind that thrives on chaos, blueprints sprawling across my desk, deadlines pressing against my temples like a vice. Creativity is my oxygen, the pulse that keeps me moving through late nights and endless revisions, but it comes at a cost. My body feels it, the tightness in my shoulders, the ache in my lower back from hours hunched over designs. The gym is my release, a ritual I cling to when the clock ticks past 8 and the world quiets down. Tonight, like most nights, I'm heading there alone, craving the stretch of muscle and the hum of machines to balance the strain. The streets are slick with recent rain as I drive across town, the neon glow of storefronts reflecting off the asphalt. My gym sits on the edge of the urban sprawl, a low, squat building with frosted windows and a flickering sign that reads Fit Zone. It's not fancy, not one of those sleek chains with smoothie bars and selfie mirrors, but it's mine. I pull into the nearly empty lot, the engine's purr dying as I cut the ignition and step out into the cool night air. My gym bag swings against my hip, the weight of it familiar, grounding, as I cross the pavement in sneakers that squeak faintly on the wet ground. My black leggings hug my legs, the fabric soft against my skin, and my tank top, loose, breathable, shifts with each step. A whisper of freedom after a day in tailored slacks and blouses. Inside, the air is warm, tinged with the faint musk of sweat and metal. The fluorescent lights buzz overhead, casting stark shadows across the rows of treadmills and weight racks. It's late past 9 now, and the usual crowd has thinned to nothing, leaving the space eerily still. I like it this way, the quiet a canvas I can fill with my own rhythm. My sneakers echo on the rubberized floor as I head to the locker room, the sound sharp in the silence. I drop my bag on a bench, peeling off my jacket to reveal the tank top beneath, its hem brushing my hips. My dark hair, pulled into a messy ponytail, swings as I stretch, the strands catching on my neck where a faint sheen of perspiration already gathers. I feel my body waking up, the stiffness easing, the blood flowing, and it's a quiet thrill, a reclaiming of myself from the desk's grip. The main floor is a labyrinth of steel and mirrors, the machines gleaming faintly under the lights. I start with the treadmill, setting a steady pace, my breaths syncing with the thrum of the belt. The burn in my thighs builds, a slow fire that spreads through me, and I feel the tension of the day unraveling, each step a stroke erasing the blueprints. The client calls, the endless revisions. My tank top clings to my back, the fabric darkening with sweat, and I feel every inch of my skin, the way my muscles flex and release, the heat pooling in my core. It's meditative, this movement, a dance I've perfected over months of late-night visits, but tonight feels different. There's a shift in the air, a ripple I can't place, and it pulls my gaze from the treadmill's display to the room beyond. That's when I see him, James. He's new, a face I haven't clocked before, and he's moving through the gym with a quiet purpose that draws my eye. Late 30s, I'd guess, with a frame that's lean but solid, muscles defined under a fitted black t-shirt that stretches across his chest. His hair is short, dark, with a hint of gray at the temples, and his jaw is sharp, shadowed with stubble that catches the light. He's adjusting a stack of weights, his hands, strong, steady, lifting the plates with an ease that speaks of years spent mastering this space. My treadmill slows, my pace faltering, and I feel a jolt, a spark of awareness that cuts through the burn in my legs. He's not just another trainer, he's a presence, a force that shifts the gym's stillness into something alive. I step off the treadmill, wiping my palms on my leggings, and move toward the free weights, my heart thudding a little faster than it should. The mirrors reflect me back, flushed cheeks, damp hair, the curve of my hips under the tank top, and I feel exposed, but not in a way that makes me shrink. I pick up a pair of dumbbells, the metal cool against my skin, and start a set of curls, my focus split between the motion and him. He's across the room now, wiping down a bench, his movements deliberate, almost hypnotic. I catch his eyes in the mirror, blue, piercing, and they hold mine for a beat too long. A silent acknowledgement that sends a flush creeping up my neck. My arms burn, the weight's heavier than they should be, and I realize I've lost count, my rhythm thrown by the weight of his gaze. The gym is empty now, just us. The last straggler, a guy in a hoodie, grabs his bag and heads out, the door thudding shut behind him. The silence settles, thick and expectant, broken only by the faint hum of the air conditioning and the clank of my dumbbells as I set them down. I feel it, the shift, the way the space contracts until it's just me and James, 2 points in a vast, quiet grid. My breath catches, a quiet hitch, and I move to the leg press, needing the structure, the focus, but my eyes keep drifting to him. He's closer now, wiping down a machine a few feet away, and I feel the heat of his presence, a warmth that brushes my skin even from this distance. I slide into the leg press, adjusting the weight, and start my reps, the machine's resistance a steady push against my thighs. My leggings stretch, the fabric taut, and I feel every flex, every strain, my body a map of effort and release. Sweat beads on my forehead, trickling down my temple, and I taste it on my lips, salty, sharp, a reminder of how alive I am in this moment. James moves again, crossing to a rack near me, and I catch the scent of him, clean sweat, a hint of cedar, a masculine edge that cuts through the gym's sterile air. My reps slow, my focus splintering, and I feel the pull, magnetic, undeniable, drawing me toward him. He turns, catching my stare again, and this time he doesn't look away. His eyes roam me, not invasive, but curious, assessing, and I feel it like a touch, a heat that spreads across my chest, down my spine. My tank top clings tighter, the damp fabric outlining my breasts, and I'm acutely aware of myself. The way my hair sticks to my neck, the flush on my skin, the rhythm of my breath. He steps closer, casual but deliberate, and stops by the leg press, his shadow falling over me. "Your form's off," he says, his voice low, steady, a sound that settles into my bones. "Mind if I adjust you?" I nod, my throat tight, and he leans in, his hands hovering near my knees. The air tightens, charged with unspoken potential, and I feel the weight of this moment. The gym's silence, his closeness, the spark flickering between us, waiting to catch. The gym feels like a held breath, the silence stretching taut around me as James stands by the leg press, his hands hovering near my knees. His words, "Your form's off," echo in my ears, low and steady, a sound that sinks into my bones and stirs the quiet. I nod, my throat tight, and feel the air shift, thickening with a current I can't name. My tank top clings to my skin, damp with sweat, and I'm hyper-aware of every inch of myself. The heat in my thighs from the reps, the way my leggings hug my legs, the faint ache in my shoulders from a day spent hunched over blueprints. I'm 34, an architect who thrives on control, on shaping chaos into order. But here, in this empty space, I feel the edges of that control fraying. He leans closer, his shadow falling over me, and I catch the scent of him, clean sweat, a whisper of cedar, a masculine edge that cuts through the gym's sterile air. His hands move, brushing my knees as he adjusts my position, and the touch is light, professional, but it sears through me like a spark. My breath catches, a quiet hitch, and I feel the heat of his fingers through the thin fabric of my leggings, a fleeting connection that lingers on my skin. He guides my legs into alignment, his palms firm but careful, and I feel the shift in my posture, the stretch in my muscles, the way my hips settle deeper into the seat. "There," he says, his voice a low rumble. "That's better." His hands linger a beat too long, and I wonder if he feels it too, the charge, the pull, the unspoken thing blooming between us. I finish the set, my reps slower now, my focus splintered by his presence. The machine's resistance pushes back, a steady rhythm that mirrors the thudding in my chest, and I feel every flex, every release, my body, a canvas of effort and heat. Sweat beads on my forehead, trickling down my temple, and I taste it on my lips, salty, sharp, a reminder of how alive I am in this moment. James steps back, but he doesn't leave, his blue eyes watching me with a quiet intensity that makes my skin prickle. I slide out of the leg press, my sneakers squeaking on the rubberized floor, and stand, the air cool against my damp tank top. My hair sticks to my neck, the ponytail loose and messy, and I feel his gaze follow me as I move to the weight rack, needing something, anything, to anchor me. I pick up a kettlebell, the metal cool against my palm, and start a set of swings, my hips rocking with each motion. The burn spreads through me, a fire that climbs my thighs and settles in my core, and I feel the gym's stillness amplify every sound. The clank of the weight, the rush of my breath, the faint creak of the floor under my feet. James is nearby, adjusting a cable machine, his movements deliberate, almost hypnotic. I catch him in the mirror, his t-shirt clinging to his chest, the lines of his shoulders sharp under the fluorescent lights, and my rhythm falters, the kettlebell dipping lower than it should. He's late 30s, a trainer, a man who's supposed to be off limits, but that only sharpens the ache, makes it more real. The gym is ours now, the last echoes of other footsteps long gone. The silence is a weight pressing against my ribs, and I feel it, the forbidden thread weaving through this moment. He's my trainer, a professional boundary I've never crossed, but the emptiness of the space erases those lines, leaves us as just two bodies in a sea of steel and mirrors. I set the kettlebell down, my hands trembling slightly, and wipe my palms on my leggings, the fabric tacky against my skin. My tank top rides up, exposing a sliver of my stomach, and I feel his eyes on me again, not invasive, but curious, a heat that spreads across my chest and down my spine. I move to the pull-up bar, needing the challenge, the focus, and grip the metal, my fingers curling around it. My arms stretch, the tension building as I lift, and I feel every muscle engage. The strain in my shoulders, the flex in my back, the way my core tightens. Sweat trickles down my spine, pooling at the small of my back, and I taste the effort in my breath, a quiet grunt escaping as I lower myself. James crosses the room, his footsteps soft but deliberate, and stops a few feet away, watching. "Need a spot?" he asks, his voice cutting through the silence, a lifeline I didn't know I wanted. I nod, my arms burning, and he steps closer, his hands hovering near my hips. I lift again, slower this time, and feel the heat of him behind me, a presence that makes the bar feel heavier, the air thicker. His fingers brush my waist, steadying me, and the touch is electric, a jolt that races up my spine and settles deep in my belly. My tank top shifts, the damp fabric brushing his hands, and I feel the roughness of his palms, the warmth seeping through me. He doesn't grip, doesn't hold, just guides, but it's enough to unravel me. My feet touch the ground, my legs trembling, and I turn, facing him, the space between us shrinking to nothing. His eyes lock on mine, blue and piercing, and I see it, the flicker of something raw, something hungry. My breath comes quick, syncing with his, and I feel the gym fade, the mirrors and machines blurring into the background. My tank top clings tighter, the sweat outlining my breasts, and I'm acutely aware of myself. The flush on my cheeks, the damp strands of hair framing my face, the way my body hums under his gaze. He's close now, close enough that I can see the stubble on his jaw, the faint lines at the corners of his eyes, the way his chest rises and falls. The air is heavy, laced with the scent of sweat and metal, and I taste it on my tongue, a raw edge that heightens everything. I step back, needing space, and grab a towel from the rack, my fingers fumbling with the fabric. He follows, casual but deliberate, and hands me a water bottle, his fingers brushing mine as I take it. The touch is fleeting, a spark that sears through me, and I feel it everywhere, my pulse racing, my breath catching, the heat pooling low in my body. The bottle is cold, a shock against my palm, and I sip, the liquid sliding down my throat, grounding me as my thoughts spin. He's my trainer, a line I shouldn't cross, but the gym's emptiness erases that, leaves us as equals, two bodies drawn together by a force I can't name. I set the bottle down, my hands trembling slightly, and move to the mats, needing the stretch, the release. I sink into a lunge, my leggings stretching taut, and feel the burn in my thighs, the way my hips open, my body a map of effort and heat. James watches, his stance shifting, and I feel his eyes roam me, not just my form, but me, the woman beneath the sweat and strain. My tank top rides up again, exposing my stomach, and I feel the air against my skin, the coolness a contrast to the fire building inside me. He steps closer, kneeling beside me, and adjusts my posture again, his hand brushing my lower back. A touch that lingers, deliberate, charged. The contact is brief, but it's enough. My breath hitches, a quiet sound that fills the silence, and I feel the tension coil tighter, a delicious ache that demands more. His hand slides away, grazing my arm as he pulls back, and I feel the roughness of his skin, the warmth that clings to me even after he's gone. I hold the lunge, my body trembling, and look up at him. His eyes dark now, a storm brewing behind the blue, and I see it. The hunger, the want, the mirror to my own. The gym is a cocoon, its stillness amplifying every sensation, and I feel it, the spark igniting, a flame ready to catch. He steps back, his fingers trailing along my arm, a final touch that leaves me teetering on the edge of a choice I can't unmake. The air hums, charged with the promise of what's next, and I know I'm lost, caught in the pull of him, the forbidden thrill of this moment, waiting for the fire to consume us. The gym pulses around me, its silence a living thing, thick with the heat of James' last touch, his fingers grazing my arm, a trail of warmth that lingers like a brand. I'm still on the mat, my body stretched in a lunge, trembling not just from the strain but from the pull of him, the storm brewing in his blue eyes. My tank top clings to my skin, damp and heavy with sweat, outlining every curve, and I feel it. The exposure, the rawness, the thrill of standing on the edge of something I can't take back. My breath comes quick, syncing with his, and the air is heavy, laced with the scent of sweat and metal, a haze that wraps around us, shrinking the world to this moment. I rise from the lunge, my legs unsteady, and turn to face him fully, the space between us a thread stretched taut. He's close, too close, his t-shirt hugging his chest, the lines of his shoulders sharp under the fluorescent lights. My hands tremble, itching to move, and I feel the weight of the forbidden pressing in. He's my trainer. A boundary I've never crossed, a man who's supposed to guide my form, not my desires. But the gym is empty, its stillness a blank canvas, and those rules feel distant, irrelevant. My body hums, alive in a way it hasn't been in years, decades, maybe, and I know I'm done resisting. I step forward, a bold, reckless move, my hand reaching for his chest. My fingers brush his t-shirt, the fabric soft and warm, and then press against the hard plane beneath. A jolt that races up my arm and settles deep in my core. He doesn't pull away, doesn't flinch, and I feel the heat of him, the faint salt of his sweat, the steady rise and fall of his breath. My hand flattens, palm splayed, and I trace the lines of muscle, the strength that belies his late 30s, a man carved from discipline and time. My tank top shifts, the damp hem brushing my hips, and I feel every nerve flare awake, my skin prickling with a hunger I've buried under blueprints and deadlines. He moves then, closing the gap, and my back meets the mirrored wall, the glass cool and unyielding against my spine. The contact steadies me, grounds me, as his body presses against mine, not forceful, but sure, a wall of warmth that traps me in the best way. My hands slide up, mapping his shoulders, the cords of muscle beneath his skin, and I feel the tremor in him, a faint quake that mirrors the one running through me. The gym fades, its machines and racks blurring into the background, and the air grows heavier, laced with the musk of our mingled breaths. My ponytail loosens, strands of dark hair brushing my neck, and his breath fans across my face, hot and ragged, stirring the damp tendrils that cling to my skin. Our lips meet, a tentative brush at first, a question I answer by pressing closer, deepening the kiss. His mouth is warm, tasting of salt and the faintest hint of mint, and I feel the roughness of his lips, the scrape of stubble against my chin. My hands slide to his neck, fingers threading into his short, dark hair, and I pull him in, hungry for more. The kiss shifts, grows urgent, a tangle of tongues and quiet gasps that fill the silence. My body arches into his, the tank top a thin barrier between us, and I feel him, hard, insistent, pressing against my thigh. A promise that sends a flush burning through me. It's thrilling, terrifying, a line I'm crossing with every breath. But I don't stop, I can't. His hands find me, tentative at first, then bolder, fingers tracing the curve of my waist, the damp fabric bunching under his touch. The sensation is sharp, a current that races across my skin, leaving trails of heat in its wake. I feel the mirror shift behind me, a faint creak as my weight presses into it, and I push harder against him, my hips rocking into his, a silent plea for more. The air is thick, heavy with the scent of sweat and cedar, and I taste it on my tongue, a raw edge that heightens everything. My fingers dig into his shoulders, nails catching on his skin, and he responds. A low sound in his throat, a vibration I feel through my chest, urging me on. I break the kiss, gasping, my lips tingling as I pull back just enough to see him. His eyes are dark, hooded with want, and I feel the weight of his gaze, the way it roams my face, my neck, the wet shirt clinging to my breasts. My hands slide down, tracing his chest again, and I feel the rapid thud of his heart, a mirror to mine. The gym is a haze, the fluorescent lights casting soft shadows, and I step aside, tugging him with me, my sneakers scraping the rubberized floor. We move as one, a tangled dance toward the weight bench, its leather surface cool and inviting under the dim glow. My back hits the bench, the padding yielding beneath me, and I pull him closer, my hands framing his face. His breath hitches, and I feel it. The shift, the moment we surrender fully. His hands slide under my tank top, fingers brushing my bare skin, and I gasp, the touch igniting a fire that spreads through me. The fabric lifts, peeling away, and I feel the air against my stomach, the heat of his palms as they explore higher, tracing the swell of my breasts. My head tips back, hair catching on the bench, and I feel every sensation, the roughness of his touch, the coolness of the leather, the heat of his body pressing me into this makeshift altar. I guide him, my hands on his touch growing sure, confident. My skin pebbles under his fingers, a cascade of sensation that leaves me breathless, and I feel the tension coiling tighter, a delicious ache that demands release. His lips find my neck, a trail of heat that sends my pulse racing, and I tilt my head, giving him more, my fingers tightening in his hair. The gym fades, the world beyond it irrelevant. There's only this, the press of his body, the rhythm of our breaths, the unspoken bond that binds us. I reach for his t-shirt, my fingers tugging at the hem, and he stills. A moment of hesitation that I break with a kiss. Hard, hungry, a demand he answers. The fabric lifts, revealing the planes of his chest, the faint line of hair trailing downward, and I feel him, the heat of him, the reality of what we're doing crashing through me. My hands guide him, and we move together, a tangle of need and heat that consumes us. His hands slide lower, tracing the waistband of my leggings, and I feel the fabric give, the cool air brushing my thighs as he peels it away. The encounter unfolds in a haze, sweat-slick skin, the faint creak of the bench shifting under our weight, the hum of the air conditioning a distant chorus. I feel every touch, every press of his body, the way he fills the space I've opened for him. My breath comes in gasps, my hands clutching his shoulders, and I feel the tension peak, a wave that crashes through me, leaving me trembling, sated, alive. He follows, a low sound escaping him, his body shuddering against mine, and we hold there, locked in the aftermath, the air thick with the scent of us. We part slowly, breathless, our gazes locking in the dim light. His eyes are soft now, a mix of awe and something deeper, And I feel it, the bond forged in this moment, a connection that transcends the physical. My tank top falls back into place, damp and rumpled, and I smooth it with trembling hands, my body still humming from his touch. The gym reclaims its silence, the machines and mirrors bearing witness to what we've done, and I feel a shift in me, a transformation. A piece of myself reclaimed in this fluorescent lit nowhere. I leave the gym under a starless sky, the cool night air brushing my skin as I cross the lot to my car. My body still carries him, the warmth of his touch, the faint ache of where we collided, and I feel it with every step, a secret pulsing in my veins. The engine purrs to life, and I drive home, the city lights blurring past, my thoughts lingering on that bench, the moment I cross